What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video with Walk It Off Sports. Before we get into the video today, as always, if you're new, first time watcher, listener, make sure you share us out. Give us a like, follow over on YouTube, hit the notification bell. Over on the TikTok, give us a heart. Repost our videos, and we're still an up and coming channel, and we're gonna have a lot of great things coming for you, especially during the college football season, but also just some other fun things coming as we keep trucking along in this year of 2025. So thanks for watching. But of course, the hot topic today, or I guess the hot topic that started 24 hours ago, is the promising 5-star quarterback for the University of Tennessee, Nico, is now hitting the transfer portal. And I'm not here to poke fun and poke the bear, so to speak, when it comes to what Nico decided to do. But at the end of the day, this was absolutely insane on what him and his camp decided to do. And, you know, he was already getting he was one of the first ones to start off this high NIL money coming out of high school, right? Like, I mean, $8 million was his quote-unquote contract for his time that he would spend at Tennessee. So just $2.4 million a year. And a lot of Tennessee fans had very, very high expectations for him, and rightfully so. He was a very highly talented quarterback coming out of high school. And to be quite honest with you, he hasn't lived up to that potential, right? Like, he was behind Joe Milton, right? And then he came on, he played in the bowl game. He had some flashes of, man, he might be something special. And then last year happened, right? And he wasn't good, right? And, he was getting $2.4 million last year, and he didn't even deserve the $2.4 million, right? Because he didn't play great at all. He was a middle of a pack quarterback in the SEC, and a lot of his better stats came against lower competition, right? And his stats against SEC competition was not very good at all, right? And, what he done to the University of Tennessee and how he handled this situation, or maybe his camp handled this situation, because we don't really know, right? We don't know if Nico's making these decisions, or if his camp is making these decisions for Nico and telling Nico what to say, or whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, what he done and how they handled it for the University of Tennessee is Bush League. And part of this is on the NCAA, but the fact of the matter is he was getting paid, right? He was getting paid and had a contract which obviously he's not fulfilling. Now, does he have the right to try to negotiate and get more money? Well, you can say yes, you can say no, but at the end of the day, this is the era of college football that we are in right now, where these players, while I believe that they should get compensated for their name, image, and likeness, I 100% believe that, right? But they are also student athletes, and we're in this era of college football that it's the wild, wild west, right? Like, you don't know what's going to happen from one day to the next day. You don't know, okay, we're getting this 5-star quarterback that's committing to us, but nowadays you don't know if that quarterback's going to stay with you so that you can continue to develop him. Like, it's roster management, constantly 24/7 with these coaches, right? And I believe that's why you see some of these colleges are now getting GMs, right? So that they don't have to manage that aspect of the business, because now it's a business. And I live with 2 Tennessee Vol fans, right? So they are diehard through and through, Power T, bleed orange, Tennessee Vol fans. And so this is no making fun of Tennessee, because what we saw with what Nico's done, other kids, or I shouldn't say kids, but other young men are going to probably do the same thing. But kudos to Josh Heupel and the University of Tennessee for basically telling him, get your stuff, hit the road, Jack, because he's wanting $4 million when he's already had a contract of $8 million, right? And he's getting paid, what, $2.4 million? And he wants a $4 million contract now because you have a quarterback like Carson Beck who was getting $3 million, and there's another quarterback, I'm forgetting the name now, that's getting paid right there. So the fair market value is going up, and Nico signed his contract a couple years ago. So he's, I'm sure his camp's like, okay, well, if Carson Beck is getting $3 million, then we know Nico can get $4 million. And until more coaches put a stop to this and say, hey, we're not doing it, hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back. Because Nico didn't care about the University of Tennessee. In my opinion, he didn't care about the University of Tennessee. Maybe he cared about the university, but as a whole camp, his whole camp, right? Like, everybody together, the people that are representing him, they didn't care about the University of Tennessee. They cared about the almighty dollar, right? And that's where we've gotten in college football now. Not everybody, right? Like, not everybody is like that. Some people are still playing because they love the game of football, and as they're competitive, and they want to go to the university because they love the university and they love the coaching staff and they love getting developed. Like, you still have a ton of players like that, right? But even if Tennessee would have said, let's say they gave him $3 million, the way that him and his camp handled this, you've already lost the locker room. And in my opinion, I don't think that Nico was a leader, right? If we're looking at this now, if we're looking back now and we're saying, man, well, I didn't see him leading a lot last year, right? But you're wanting $4 million and you didn't even play up to your $2.4 million contract last year, right? Like, it's like me doing half the work at my job and then me going to my boss and saying, hey, I think I deserve a raise. And my boss is saying, no, you don't deserve a raise because of X, Y, and Z. And then I just walk out, right? Like, that's just crazy. And it's absolutely insane where we have gotten to in college football. But kudos to Josh Heupel and the University of Tennessee for telling this man to kick rocks, because it's just not a good look. And I'm sure there is some school out there that will pay him $4 million. There's going to be a school that's going to pay him $4 million. But then you look at it like, well, the way you handled this situation, how are other teams going to look at you as well in that kind of situation, right? Like, but nobody should be bigger than the university and the name that they're representing and the school that they're playing for, right? Like, And once again, I am 100% on board with name, image, and likeness. I think players should be compensated for the money and the revenue and the revenue that they bring to these schools. 100%. I agree with that 100%. But something has got to be done. And maybe this situation here is going to change the landscape of how this NIL and these schools with the NIL collectives, et cetera, are going to, maybe it changed something. Maybe this, I think it's coming up, next week maybe, or something like that. I can't remember, but the revenue sharing settlement, or I guess not settlement, but, negotiations, that sort of thing. Maybe this changes the outlook. But if I'm a head coach, I'm not bringing Nico on, right? Because you just proved that you're only in it for the money, right? Are you truly in it for the love of the game, right? And that's one thing that so far, and I don't think will ever change, is Kirby Smart. Like, I remember his press conference several weeks ago, maybe a week ago, and he talked about, hey, if a kid's coming to me and they're pitching, hey, that this school, or we're going for a kid and they're pitching that, hey, this school's offering this and yada yada yada, and that's all they're talking about, he don't want them on the team, right? If they don't have fire, passion, energy, love of the game, want to get better no matter what, he doesn't want them on the University of Georgia's football team, right? And until more coaches do this, and then more coaches like Josh Heupel and the University of Tennessee, and the way that they handled this and told him, hey, we're moving on, next man up, right? Like, you got Jake Merkenler, if I said his name right, and I think you got George McIntyre. I mean, look, I'll be honest, my opinion, those two quarterbacks could have done the same thing last year with what Nico did, right? Defense, Dylan Sampson got Tennessee to the playoffs. Nico did not get Tennessee to the playoffs, right? That's a 100% fact. Nico did nothing special last year to get $2.4 million. And then he wants $4 million, right? Like, and it's just, it's crazy the way he handled the situation, though. I mean, Tennessee, like, I read an article where how Josh Heupel loved Nico, which I believe, and he had a great relationship with him, and then Nico in return, same way. I don't believe that. There's no way that you could do. Tennessee sued the NCAA for Nico, right? Like, with all that situation that happened, Tennessee went to bat, sued the NCAA in Nico's behalf, and yet he turned around and did that to the university that was taking care of him. That's a sad situation. It really is. And, but once again, kudos to the University of Tennessee. And like I said, my wife and son are earlier. They're Tennessee Vols through and through, and they love the Power T. And, I can just tell you, they would rather go, struggle than to have somebody like that, quote unquote, leading their team that they are fanatics about and that they have cheered for their whole life, right? Like, it's unbelievable. And who picks him up, right? That's the next big thing. The next big question mark is who's going to pick him up, right? Like, window opens up on Wednesday. If I had to guess, I'd probably say USC. I mean, he played high school ball in California, so if I had to guess, I would probably say USC. I don't know. I just, it's just a sad situation, and but nobody can be bigger than the program itself. And I think Josh Heupel said that at their spring game today. Like, nobody's bigger than the program, right? And that's 100% fact. So, but anyways, that's my little rant and opinions on that situation. But until the next one, go Dogs.